What's going on, guys? Alright, so today I got another project. Got a guy coming over right now with a lifted Ford, I think it's like an F-250. Probably, it's got a pretty big lift. It's got like a maybe 12-inch lift, 14-inch. Well, he was wanting me to put basically what are rock lights, when mainly used by rock crawlers and off-roaders when they're doing night riding, so they can see the rocks and stuff when they're out in the trails or out in the basically in the hills. We were looking at some of the LED lights that I have, but they weren't gonna work. An underlight kit, that's it's too dim, really. Those underlight kits are actually made for lowered cars, and they have multicolor. So what he really wanted was white. So I did a little researching online, and I came across these here. These are single, I think it's 9-watt units. I powered one up the other day, and these are bright, and these are nice. And it's like a cool white. His suspension is like a light blue, like aqua blue, so it'll bright up real nice. They have a 3/8 diameter right here, so you can drill them pretty much anywhere, and then just recess them in. I'm gonna aim for probably between 6 and 8 today. If we need more, we'll add more. I have some more inside the house, but these come with like about a 2 foot strand, positive, negative. That's it. So I ordered about 50 foot of this cable here. My intention is to minimize the work instead of having to run each light straight across from one end to the battery terminal. I'm gonna run one main cable from the back of the truck, from the back of the truck on the left, going forward towards the front of the truck, and then one from the back of the truck on the right, going forward towards the engine compartment. And then I'm gonna simply just tap into that line every so often, depending where the lights are gonna go. That's my goal, at least. That should make life a lot easier for lighting up the bottom of that truck. I made some small brackets, something simple, to help mount with the mounting, just because maybe we might come across an area that we don't have somewhere we could drill a 3/8 hole in. So what I came up with was those little mounts right there. So obviously, if you have your flat surface, that's what you would use. You could either make another hole down here. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a 3/16 hole, so I could use rivets. So I'm gonna rivet that in place. That's if I need it. Put some rivets in there to lock this in place wherever the molding or the body is at, where I need the hole. Aside from that, this is the way I'm gonna do it. If there's an area that doesn't have any framing, basically just gonna run this, sit that through. Now I drilled that with a 1/2-inch hole just to make sure that I have clearance all the time, and not having to wiggle that 3/8 all the way through that hole and then damage the threads for the nut to go in. So that's, now I'm hoping that for the most part I can drill straight into the body or the molding of the truck somewhere, so in an area where we want the light aiming. But if we don't, that's what these are for. There we go. See, so if the truck has like a side, we could rivet that onto the side and then have it at a 90. If it's upside down, we can rivet it upwards and it'll shoot towards the back. If it's on the side, we could rivet this sideways and it'll aim straight down. So I mean, that was the purpose of the angled ones, but we might use these straight ones too. I'm not sure. My plan is just hoping on drilling some 3/8 underneath there, just about anywhere, and just basically something simple as sliding the little bolt through, tightening it up, and then just soldering tapping this into the cable. Now, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that yet. Obviously, the easiest would be using these connectors. But given the fact that this is so tiny, I might have to do that. But also at the same time, solder them directly against there first, and then capping them off with this, just so that they hold them in place. I'll show you not step by step, but I'll skip through some parts that are obvious. But when the truck gets here and I start drilling in, I'll be recording video of that. But just a quick recap of what's going to go on, and then also I'm going to finish it off using partially the this harness for a light bar or light brackets, since we can get away with just putting a switch straight onto that cable, but I want the system to be protected, so we're going to run the relay and the fuse on there also, just to make sure that it's got a legit installation. At least I'm in no way professional, but keep it as safe as possible. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can get away with like 8 of these, but we'll see. If he wants it brighter, we'll add some more. That's not a big issue. So yeah, I'll start recording as soon as the truck gets here, and we'll start going at it. All right. What's up, guys? I'm back. All right, so he's here, got the truck going. I've already done a couple of things on here. I'll walk you through them and see how I slapped these lights on there. The fact that this truck is this high off the ground makes it so much easier. I can see how a lot of you guys would have some trouble if you guys are trying to do to a truck that's low, but all right, let me show you. As far as the fenders, get those lights up there. There's one right there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, there it is. Just drilled 3/8 hole straight through here, popped it out right there, and then it has the nut. Just tighten that up. Just gonna wire the wire, run that along one of the looms and zip tie it after it's tapped in. But so that will shine up a good chunk of the tire and definitely the suspension. All right, if we get to the front, this is what I did up here. Made these little brackets earlier, kind of like to make sure that I had a universal adaptation, because I could, I was able to, these for instance, I was able to curve them. I took a 1/8" piece of flat bar, drilled 3/8 hole on the first half of it, and then some of them I laid straight, some of them I curved onto a 90, as I'll show you right now. But these, you can tell I curved them so that the light is actually shooting backwards towards the suspension a little bit. Little details like that, rather than shooting straight down. You're gonna get more of the color on the white light. So I used existing holes right here. These are already in the chassis. So simply I just drilled 3/16 hole on my bracket, 3/16 hole on the panel, and riveted it on there with an aluminum rivet at an angle so it'll shoot back. So then, for this cabling, I'm just going to run it along here with some zip ties, and then run it up, wire it up with the rest of the system. This truck was way too wide, so it couldn't fit inside my house. I have to do the work outside. But it's all good. No matter. I don't mind getting dirty. All right, up here, this is what I did. I told you I had some of those brackets at a 90. So right there, put them along the side of the body panel here. Same thing, riveted them in place, face them down. That I'd put them about 1.5 inches off the lip, just so that you can't see the light from the outside. I did one there and one here, because this is a 4-door. You can't even see that one. There it is. See, so the face is down. You could set those brackets as high as you want or as low as you want. It's up to you. But it definitely helps to have those pre-made for the build, because if you have to build those while you're making the installation, it's going to take you 2 or 3 times as long. Let's see. Let me crawl down here so I can show you before the light is on there. See, that's how they look. Just when I first riveted them in place. So now you just gotta put the light up, and that's it. Then I gotta wire it. Probably run it along this side here. And go from there. Let me show you the back. Alright. For the rear fenders, or for the rear setup, this is what I did. I set it up right on the edge of the bed. See? So the bed has a little lip, probably you got about an inch maybe of plate back here. So I set those little brackets flat and I put it on the top side, riveted downwards facing up, that way the rivet doesn't show that ugly spot part. Let me see if I don't know if you can see or not, but so you'll see a little bit of the light, but it'll ultimately shine straight down to the tire, get a little bit of suspension, and go from there. I did the exact same thing on the opposite side. Alright, now for the rear. On this we were planning on using the existing holes right in here, maybe making some holes, but we decided to just go ahead and try them out right on the corner of the bumper. See, like right there, there's already some existing holes. They were a little bit oval, so the light kind of just came straight on. It was easy. We'll see how that lights up. If not, we can always move them maybe about a foot in. We'll see. And then finally, this is the one that's going to give the most effect, really. Let me get up here. So, riveted a flat bracket right onto that. It's the bed support. So did that, and that's gonna light up straight down onto this bad boy here. So this will be the attention grab right here. This light right above it. Now you could choose to put it anywhere, really. I mean, there's tons of areas. I'm sure your truck will be similar to this in construction, so you could literally put a light in any direction. He doesn't have a spare tire, so you know that helps a little bit, but if you have your spare tire, you can always just make a small bracket to go out and down. It's up to you, but I definitely say that's the spot to go. Right now I just got to put 2 more lights on this side of the truck, run my cables from the back straight to the front, and tap into the harness with every light and wire it up. So I'll stop the video and I'll start it back up in a minute. Alright guys, we are all done. It's 9:30. We started this project at roughly just past 4. 03 F250. Ran a total of, I think, 10 high intensity LEDs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. No, we did more. We did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 total LEDs for this setup right here. Oh, the truck's here. You don't see it, but it's here. I'll show you in a minute. So the wiring for the actual turning on of the lights is pretty much like my other video for the light bar. It's the same wiring kit. I just kind of tweaked a little bit, but it's on now. It's a beast right there. So like I said, 11 rock lights, high intensity LEDs, single units. I'll show you up close right now what it looks like, but I mean, you can go crazy and add a lot more, but you'd be talking tons of more time, a little bit more money, but it's ultimately what it looks like. Alright, so that's the LEDs like I showed you earlier, the brackets on the inside. We had to bend the flare of the bed just a little bit in so that you wouldn't see this LED on view, as well as the ones in the bumper. So it's just little things like that that just take a little bit of fine tuning. Up here, we put one right above the rear differential. That's the one I was saying that without that one, you would have a hard time looking at that. But I mean, you would still see it. But I think that's the one that gives the most look. There's two, one right beneath every door. At the same time, I think it also helps with safety because nighttime, you can actually see the Nerf bars when you're stepping. That's the ones that are reset under the fender well. Hard to see with it on, they shine up at that light, but yeah, like I said, guys, 11 high intensity LEDs. Alright, so I would show you the wiring for the inside of the engine compartment, but like I said, that's literally identical to the setup on my Silverado for the HID light bar. The only modification that I did to that, instead of running the actual light to the light bar, I butted it up against the two sets of rows that I laid. I laid the left and the right cable, and I tapped into every one of those, brought it over right under the truck right here. You can kind of see it. I put it under the transmission just so that it would protect from the heat, but right there. Just because anywhere that it crosses through the engine over the exhaust, you guys know that'll melt away, so you can't see it from underneath or from even outside the truck. It's got the same on and off function as the LED light bars. Green meaning it's on, red meaning it's off. Same thing, same switch, just like on my last kit. Saves you some money because if you have to get all those parts separate, like I mentioned before, you end up paying probably close to $30 versus getting a full kit for under 20 bucks. So that's it. I'm actually glad that it's actually bright, or else I don't think the owner would be very happy. All right, guys. Well, hope you guys like it.